Today, we're embarking on a mission, really,
What's that?
to explore how deliberately, blurring the lines between our homes and the natural world can actually enhance our well-being.
Ah, yes. Creating spaces that feel like sanctuaries.
Exactly. We're going to dive into the key elements that make this work using some really fascinating sources that paint this picture of, well, calm, sophisticated living, but deeply connected to the outdoors.
It's a compelling idea, isn't it? This fundamental rethinking. It's not just about making things look nice.
No, not at all.
It's about recognizing that, well, we have this innate connection to nature and designing our homes to really nurture that
Yeah.
for, tangible benefits.
Absolutely. And often a big part of this is the architecture itself. Specifically, things like floor-to-ceiling wooden framed glass doors.
Right. Huge impact.
They're not just letting in light or framing views, though they do that brilliantly, turning the garden into, living art. But more deeply, they sort of dissolve that psychological barrier between inside and outside, offering seamless access, both visually and physically.
Exactly. Those big openings, they're more than just doors. They're like visual magnets, aren't they? Always drawing your eye and you towards nature.
Yeah.
And that immediate visual link, it just inherently expands your sense of space, makes you feel more connected.
And then, as you move into the living area itself, the furniture choices really build on that feeling.
How so?
Well, think low-profile sofas, maybe with gentle curves, soft fabrics, things that invite you to relax but don't block that all-important view.
Keep the sight lines open.
Precisely. And natural materials, stone or wood coffee tables, textured rugs, adding that tactile feel underfoot.
Right.
And these substantial planters, maybe clay or ceramic, that almost feel like they've been brought in straight from the garden.
Right, grounding the space.
Grounding it, yes, but still keeping everything feeling light and airy. That's the trick.
And choosing those natural low-slung pieces is quite deliberate, isn't it?
Seems so.
By keeping the furniture sort of understated close to the ground, you really emphasize that horizontal flow. Nothing competes visually with the main event, the nature outside.
Good point.
Plus, those natural textures, they engage your senses, contribute to that feeling of organic calm.
It's amazing how the materials themselves help create this seamless feeling. Imagine wood floors inside just flowing right out onto a tiled or decked patio.
An unbroken surface.
Yeah, and then cleverly placing indoor plants, like a big banana leaf plant that mirrors the foliage outside, or a sculptural monstera that echoes the garden's shapes.
Those botanical links, they really do blur the lines.
They do.
That continuity of materials, the mirroring of plants,
Yeah.
it creates this really powerful visual harmony. It's subtle, maybe, but it tricks your eye, your mind into seeing the whole thing as one unified space.
Where the boundaries are just
Permeable.
Yeah. Which brings us nicely to the garden itself. Often it's not just, a lawn, it's deliberately layered.
Like an ecosystem.
Exactly. You might have palms for height, giving a canopy effect. Then ferns and flowering plants for that mid-level lushness. And down below, ground cover, maybe mossy paths, and vertical gardens too. Things like jasmine or bougainvillea climbing up trellises. It feels immersive.
That intentional layering in the garden is so important. It creates depth, visual complexity, much like a natural landscape.
Right.
It engages your eye on different levels, makes the outdoor bit much more dynamic.
And this whole thoughtfully designed environment, it seems to encourage a completely different rhythm of living, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
Like those quiet mornings, sun streaming in, doors wide open, you hear the birds, feel the fresh air.
Yeah.
And then in the evenings, maybe you're gathering with friends and the lighting is layered soft wall lights, maybe some hidden LEDs, warm floor lamps. It creates this soothing atmosphere.
It encourages you to slow down.
Totally. Slow down, appreciate the moment.
And that careful thought about lighting, both natural and artificial, it's key for enjoying these connected spaces all day, all night.
Good point.
Layered lighting gives you flexibility. You can create different moods, for chilling out or for being more active.
What strikes me is how rich and visually interesting it all feels, but without seeming cluttered.
Ah, yes. Complexity without clutter.
Exactly. The layouts are usually open, airy, yet there's so much for your eye and your hand to explore.
Like the textures.
Yes. The contrast between smooth wood and maybe a nubby wool rug, or cool ceramic against soft linen, the roughness of a clay pot,
That tactile quality.
and then maybe a striking vertical plant wall adding drama, or even a suspended rattan chair bringing in a playful shape.
That deliberate play of textures adds such a crucial layer. It enriches the environment without needing lots of fussy ornaments.
Right.
It's about stimulating the senses subtly, harmoniously. That really contributes to well-being.
Okay, let's get into some more specifics then. It feels like every single object is chosen really intentionally.
Nothing's accidental.
No. Like, you might see a hand-glazed ceramic planter, maybe moss green, echoing the garden's leaves, holding just one dramatic tropical leaf. A perfect little moment of connection.
Beautiful.
Or a simple wooden bench placed right at the threshold to the garden, like an invitation.
Beckoning you outside.
Yeah. And even the patio furniture is carefully considered. Refined seating, but with weather-resistant cushions so it's actually usable. Layered outdoor rugs for warmth, stone or concrete side tables that are practical but still elegant.
That intentionality, it reinforces the whole philosophy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
These pieces aren't just functional, they add to the story of seamless flow, visual harmony between inside and out.
And the garden itself, it feels lush, natural, but often has that curated touch.
Managed wildness.
Kind of. Maybe vibrant bird of paradise flowers for exotic flair or architectural bromeliads for interesting shapes. And then really practical things like potted herbs right near the kitchen door, blurring the lines between garden beauty and, well, dinner.
Bringing the garden into daily life functionally.
And maybe a small water feature, a little pond, or a minimalist fountain. That adds a gentle background sound, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Integrating sensory elements like the sound of water deepens the connection to nature. And those edible plants near the kitchen, they highlight how enriching this can be functionally too.
Now here's something really fascinating. The power of repetition and rhythm in the design.
On the visual echoes.
Yes, you see similar tones, similar textures used both inside and outside. It creates this profound sense of unity.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Like, the warm beige of an indoor sofa might be picked up in the travertine tiles on the patio.
Okay, I see.
Or maybe the clean black lines of indoor light fixtures are reflected in the bases of outdoor planters. These subtle cues just weave everything together.
It creates a subconscious sense of harmony, doesn't it? Taps into our need for pattern, order. Makes you feel calm, like you belong in that unified space.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. It reinforces that the indoor and outdoor spaces aren't separate, they're parts of a whole. Seamlessness and belonging. And this attention to detail carries through to the indoor art and decor, too.
Right. Still reinforcing the theme.
You might see woven wall hangings, natural fibers, maybe abstract botanical prints. Even a simple console table near the garden door becomes a little curated scene.
Like a vignette?
Yeah, maybe a sculptural vase with fresh leaves, a few well-chosen books, but with lots of space around them. Visual breathing room.
That negative space is important. Prevents clutter, lets you appreciate each piece, but also see how it fits into the whole calm picture. The artwork enhances the natural theme, adds to the tranquility.
Let's talk color palettes for a second. They are so grounded in nature, aren't they?
Very earthy, usually.
Yeah, that calming moss, green, warm, sandy beige, terracotta, maybe charcoal for grounding.
Creates tranquility, lets the garden greens be the star.
But then sometimes you see these deliberate little pops of color, like jewel tones.
Used sparingly, though.
Oh, definitely sparingly. A sapphire blue pillow, maybe, or a single golden bowl. Just enough to add depth, a touch of understated luxury without messing up the harmony.
Right. Those accents add visual interest, stop it being monotonous, but they still feel connected to natural hues.
And we absolutely have to talk about daylight.
Crucial.
Those huge glass doors and windows, they do way more than just offer a view. They bathe the inside in this constantly shifting light and shadow all day long.
Animates the space.
Totally. Makes it feel dynamic, alive.
That ever-changing natural light is vital. It doesn't just light the room, it transforms the mood, the appearance, hour by hour. Connects you to the day's rhythm, to nature's rhythm.
But it's not just visual, is it? This connection is really immersive, sensory.
How so?
Well, when you open those doors, you get the smells, earthy soil, flowers blooming.
The scents.
The sounds, birdsong, leaves rustling, and just that immediate feeling of fresh air flowing through the house.
It's holistic.
It is. It engages multiple senses.
And that deepens the connection immensely, enhances well-being. It's beyond just looking nice, it's restorative.
What's really great about this whole design philosophy is how adaptable it is.
You don't need a huge mansion.
Exactly. Whether you've got a massive place or a small city apartment, the core ideas still work. Even a smaller space can become this nature-connected retreat if you prioritize wide openings, choose plants that fit the scale, and focus on how materials feel.
Scalability is a huge plus. The principles work anywhere. You just maximize the connection to whatever outdoor space you have, even if it's tiny.
Even a little balcony or just a narrow strip of ground can have a big impact if you use vertical planting smartly.
Go upwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wall-mounted planters full of green stuff, shelves with herbs, a simple trellis with vines climbing up.
Layering different leaf shapes and textures creates that lush feeling even if you don't have much floor space.
Vertical planting is genius for small spots. Adds visual richness, makes it feel abundant.
Definitely.
Now, here's a detail that really stood out to me. The transition zone.
The space between inside and out.
Yeah, that little intermediary bit. It could be just a slight step down, or maybe the floor material changes.
Like a bench.
Or a bench. Or even an indoor planter placed just so, guiding your eye out. It's like a bridge between the two worlds, and it needs careful thought.
That transition zone is a vital link. It consciously prepares you for the shift, makes the flow feel more intentional, less abrupt.
And of course, you have to be practical.
Things need to last.
Right. Furniture and fabrics in these connected areas, they need to handle sunlight, maybe some moisture.
So durable materials are key.
Things like teak, treated wood, powder-coated metal, sealed stone. They look good and they hold up.
Durability is essential if you actually want to use these outdoor spaces. Robust materials mean you can live in them without worrying constantly about wear and tear. Makes the whole experience better.
And this connection, it doesn't just disappear when the sun goes down, does it?
No, the lighting takes over.
Thoughtful outdoor lighting makes such a difference. Soft path lights, maybe uplighting hidden trees or interesting foliage.
Lanterns for atmosphere.
Yeah, lanterns too. It keeps the garden visible, inviting after dark. And then inside, you have that layered indoor light, dimmable lamps, pendants, maybe subtle undershelf lights, creating a cozy vibe that complements the view outside.
Good nighttime lighting extends the use and beauty of the outdoor space, creates a different mood but still enchanting. And the layered indoor light ensures that transition is smooth as daylight fades, keeps that warmth and connection.
There's such a lovely balance in these designs, isn't there? A sort of poetic interplay.
Between what?
Between the grounding things, the solid feel of stone and wood, the structure of big plants, and the lighter thing.
Like airiness.
Airiness, openness, the way leaves move, the softness of fabrics. It creates spaces that feel both secure but also liberating.
That balance, grounding, and lightness, that's what makes these spaces feel so harmonious, so nurturing. It hits our human need for stability, but also for freedom and that connection with nature.
And ultimately, this whole approach, it isn't really about following the latest decor trends.
No, it's deeper than that.
It's tapping into something much more fundamental. Our innate connection to nature. Our need for environments that genuinely support our well-being.
Our appreciation for simple beauty.
Exactly. It's about creating a home that truly, well, breathes with you.
It's a timeless alignment with that basic human need for nature. Designing living spaces that actively foster calm, inspiration, vitality.
So for you listening right now, I'd really encourage you to look at your own living space, maybe with fresh eyes. Think about how you might blur that boundary between inside and out, no matter the size. How can you maximize light, invite in more fresh air, bring more green into your daily life?
And think about the full sensory experience too. Beyond just how it looks, how can you enhance what you feel, smell, even hear to make it more immersive, more nature connected?
Yeah, and instead of just chasing the latest design fads, focus on cultivating a feeling, a connection, a sense of depth, a beauty that evolves over time.
It's about creating a space that really resonates with you personally, reflects your own relationship with nature, and supports your well-being in a real way.
Because the most successful living rooms, the ones we've been exploring, they aren't just showcases for expensive stuff.
No.
They're spaces that wholeheartedly embrace the outdoors, they celebrate texture and light, they make space for quiet reflection, but also for life's stories to unfold. They're sanctuaries.
Exactly. Crafting a living space that's a true sanctuary. A place that actively supports you, reflects the natural rhythms around you, and fosters a deeper sense of peace and connection.
So we've looked at a whole range of sources, design ideas, practical function, even the sensory stuff, which is often huge.
Definitely underestimated.
Yeah, and our goal today is basically to pull out the best bits, give you real ideas, inspiration to help blur those lines between inside and out.
Whether you've got a tiny balcony or a huge backyard.
Exactly. We want to help you create a space that's more engaging, richer, without all the confusing design jargon. So, okay, the big question is, how do we actually live in these spaces? How does it work day to day?
Well, one of the first things to think about is how the design actually encourages you to interact. It's not enough for the garden just to be a pretty picture outside the window.
Right, like a painting.
Yeah. A really good design invites you, pulls you to move between the inside and outside, to really use both areas together. It's about creating a truly fluid experience.
Okay, fluid. I like that. And our sources really talk about flexible seating being key here. We're talking like lightweight stools you can easily carry outside, modular sofas you can rearrange to face the garden.
Or even just comfy floor cushions near the doorway.
Yeah, just making that threshold, that doorway area, a natural spot to hang out. It shouldn't feel staged, like a showroom.
No, it needs to feel lived in, part of your actual life.
Yeah, exactly. So the takeaway is flexibility, adaptability. Think light, think movable when you're choosing furniture for these kinds of blended spaces.
And that brings up a really practical point. How do you physically move between these zones? Our sources stress thinking about that movement, almost like choreographing it.
Choreographing the flow. Interesting.
Yeah, anticipating how people will naturally want to move between the living room and the garden.
And it's often the small things, isn't it? The subtle details, like maybe a little step down onto the patio.
Or different flooring materials that signal your moving zones, even just a rug right at the threshold.
Right, these aren't harsh dividing lines, they're more like gentle suggestions, guiding you but keeping that open feeling.
Which, connecting this to the bigger picture, means thinking about something really basic but often forgotten: temperature.
Ah, yes, because the more open it is, the more you have to manage heat, cool air, all that.
Exactly. How do you keep it comfortable?
Well, the good news is smart architectural features and not necessarily high-tech stuff can make a huge difference.
Yeah, what's really interesting is how effective the natural solutions are. Things like deep roof overhangs, pergolas great for shade, protecting the inside from harsh sun. And then you've got trellises, right? Covered in climbing plants. They look amazing, but they also provide natural cooling. They create shade, reduce how much heat gets absorbed by walls and patios. It's all about passive cooling.
I love the idea of using water features, too. Our sources mention courtyards or patios with, like, a pond or even just a small fountain.
The cooling effect.
Yeah, they act as passive cooling systems, creating these little cooler microclimates that can drift inside when the doors are open. It's pretty amazing how simple elements can impact the whole feel.
Okay, let's circle back to flooring for a second. The sources really hammer home the importance of continuity here.
Oh yeah, this seems like a big one for creating that visual stretch, that feeling of space.
Definitely. Using the same, or at least very similar,
Yes.
flooring inside and out just completely blurs that line. It's like an invitation to step outside.
Like polished concrete inside flowing out to, say, textured pavers or wood floors leading right onto a timber deck.
Exactly that kind of thing. But, and this is crucial, those outdoor finishes have got to be tough.
Right, weather tolerant.
Durable, weather tolerant, and importantly, they need to feel good underfoot. You want that nice tactile connection, whether you're barefoot or not.
Good point. And speaking of the garden, I know some listeners might be thinking, okay, but the upkeep, having nature right there, sounds like work.
Yeah, the worry about constant weeding and watering, but the sources assure us it doesn't have to be like that.
Oh.
It's about smart integration. Choosing plants that actually suit your climate, plants that don't need tons of water, that's step one.
Low maintenance is key.
And things like automatic irrigation systems. They can be hidden away in planters or beds. Super convenient.
Plus, the materials you choose for the non-plant stuff, the hardscaping, paths, patios, and the outdoor furniture itself make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Things like treated wood, metal composites, those amazing outdoor fabrics that feel almost like indoor ones now, they're designed to last.
Okay, so we've covered flow, temperature, materials. Let's shift to something a bit more maybe magical. Light.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
The magic of light, it's transformative.
It really is. The sources talk about that golden hour light, you know, when the sun's low, filtering through leaves.
Casting that warm amber glow everywhere.
Yeah, it makes the whole living room sort of glow. It's like leverage natural light as a design element itself, watching how it changes things through the day.
And interestingly, certain surfaces can really play with that light, amplify it. Think about Tadillac walls, that's a sort of polished water-resistant plaster.
Oh, beautiful texture.
Or lime wash walls, they just sort of softly catch and diffuse the light. Brushed brass accents giving little gleams, woven things too, rattan, bamboo, sisal creating patterns of light and shadow.
It's so dynamic, always changing. And it's not just daylight, is it? Outdoor lighting is crucial for keeping that connection going after dark.
Oh, absolutely. Layered lighting is the way to go. So you're combining ambient light for general illumination, task lighting if you need it for certain spots, and accent lighting to highlight cool features like a tree or sculpture.
Like subtle uplights under plants, path lights, maybe some downlights under the eaves.
Exactly. It creates this sort of serene, visual conversation between the inside and outside at night. And a little tip, try to match the warmth, the color temperature of your indoor lights with your garden lights.
So it doesn't feel like a jarring break when you look out or step out.
Precisely. Keeps it seamless.
Okay, flow, temperature, materials, light. Check. Now, how do we make these spaces feel like us? The sources really stress personalization, telling your story.
Yeah, this is where it goes beyond just looking good and starts feeling really meaningful. It's about thinking, what memories do I want to create here?
Like maybe hearing the rain on the leaves outside, or a lazy Sunday morning, music drifting out.
Evening drinks with friends under the stars.
Yeah, and it's the personal objects that do that, right? Like a unique planter you found, a throw you got on holiday, maybe some cool stones or shells you picked up in the garden.
Those are the things that weave your story into the space, the emotional anchors.
Even practical things like storage can play a part. The sources suggest some creative, integrated ideas.
Like benches that are hidden storage inside for cushions or tools.
Or nice woven baskets for blankets.
If you found this video helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Interior Blockchain Studio for more expert design ideas, trends, and creative inspiration. Your support helps us bring you even more amazing content, so make sure to turn on notifications and stay updated with our latest uploads. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.